Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is Krista with K3 Crafts, and I just wanted to come on today and show you this box that I made. I am sending a gift to a crafty friend, and I wanted a box to send it in. And so what is inside this box is a bottle of some art glitter glue. And I was just going to take you along and show you what I did to come up with the size of the box that I needed, because I didn't find a tutorial online that fit the size box that I needed. So I was just going to take you along and show you how I figured out what size I needed. And then how I fixed my little boo-boo, which I ended up kind of like it better anyway. So, what I did to start out with is I kind of measured this on a ruler just to see how square of a box I needed. And I decided I needed a 2-inch box, so 2 inches wide and 2 inches deep for this to go in. And then I measured the height of the bottle, and it's just under 7 inches. So I knew I needed a box that was 7 by 2 to fit this in. And the way I came up with my measurements, so I needed a piece of paper that's 8.5 by 9. This one was 9. I'm going to do 8.5 by 10 because remember I told you I messed up on it. And where I messed up is on the closure up here at the top, because I only did allowed for 1 inch up here on my closure. See that the little tab, I don't know if you can see that, but the little original tab just kind of stops right here. And so it meets, but it didn't, unless I just glued it completely shut and the person had to tear the box to get into it. There was no way to close the box. So what I ended up doing was I added a tag right here to the top. I just glued it to there and then folded it back like this, put little eyelets in there and tied it with a ribbon, and that's how I got it fixed. And then that way my recipient can just open the bow and open the box and get in, and she could reuse it if she chooses to. And so anyway, what I did then, so back to the measurements of the box here. So I have a piece of paper that's 8.5 by 10. The 8.5 side is going to be for the 2 inches, because we have 2 inches 4 times, because we have a 2-inch square box, right? So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's 8 inches. And then I added a 1/2 inch tab to be able to glue the box closed together. And so that's where the 8.5 comes in, because I knew I needed the 2-inch box. So I hope that makes sense. And when we go to score it here in a minute, I'll show you too. And then I knew I needed the finished size of the box to be 7 inches. Well, I added an inch, 1 inch at the bottom and 1 inch at the top. So I did initially, because I had, this piece of paper was 8.5 by 9. I've made this piece of paper 8.5 by 10. So what I'm going to do, I'm still going to just leave the 1 inch at the top, because I really like the closure like this. But I'm going to do 2 inches at the bottom, because you can see in the bottom here how when I just allowed for the 1 inch, they just barely meet in the middle, which is fine. It's glued down and it works, and it's not that big of a deal. However, by adding 2 inches here at the bottom, my one flap will go all the way from side to side, and you won't have that line there in the middle. So I'll show you how to make this box. So let's make this box together. All right, so what I have here, again, is an 8.5 by 10 inch paper. Okay. I have cut 2 tags. This little tag is about 1 7/8 inches wide. It's just a die that I had in my set of tag dies. I just measured one that was about the same width as my box. So I cut 2 out of the cardstock, the base of the box, and 2 out of the pattern paper that I'm using. You need 4 pieces of paper that is 1 7/8 by 6 7/8. One for each side of the box. So it's going to be this piece of paper right here. That's 1 7/8 by 6 7/8. And then I did cut, which I am going to go back, and I did a 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 square to go on the bottom, which I am going to cut it. I do still have a little bit of paper with these trucks on it, and I am going to go back and add a piece just to finish up that bottom there. Give it a little bit more stability also. So, all right, 4 pieces of that to cover the sides, this for the bottom, and then the tags for the top of the box. So we'll set those aside right now. Now what we need to do is we need to get our cardstock scored. So I'm going to bring out my scoreboard here. And on the 10-inch side, I need to score at 1 inch. Oops. And at 8 inches. Well, I'm just not doing so hot tonight. I keep jumping the tracks. If you kind of jump the track like I did on both of these, a trick that I have learned is if you flip it over and just kind of push on that, where I jump the track a little bit, it kind of erases it. Okay. All right, so we did 1 inch and 8 inch on the 10-inch side. So now we're going to rotate our paper, and on the 8.5-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And this is where we're going to make our 2-inch sides. So then we're going to go over 2 inches, will be 2.5 from that 1/2 inch score. We're going to do 2.5, 4.5, and 6.5. Okay. And that's all the scoring that we have to do. So I'm going to move my scoreboard out of the way here. And now we need to trim this paper up. So with your 1/2 inch score, it's going to be kind of hard to see here, but with the 1/2 inch score, we've got our little 1 inch score and our 7-inch score. So on that side and our 1/2 inch here at the bottom. So what we're going to do is take our scissors, and we need to take away this little rectangle right here. So we're going to cut on that score line and cut. We're going to cut that little rectangle away. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing on this end. We're going to cut that little rectangle away. And try to get, I didn't quite get my score mark all the way off. Okay. Because what we have right here, this is the main side piece to our box. And these are going to be the top flap and the bottom flap. Okay, so that's why you need to cut away those little squares there. And what I have come to find out is also if you take a little notch, since this is a glue tab, anytime you have little glue tabs, it helps to kind of just get that extra little bulk out of the way, so when you turn it down, it doesn't interfere with your score marks for your top and your bottom tabs there. Okay. All right, now what we need to do is we're going to turn our paper, and we have 3 more score marks here on this side, because this is where our box is going to have our 2 inches. And we'll burnish all of these score marks in a minute. I just was trying to get it to where maybe you could see it just a little bit. But we're going to cut up to that first score line. Cut right on those score marks. Just right up to that first score line. So we're going to take this and just cut up to that first score line. And then one more time right there. Then we're going to flip it around, all the way around, and on the same, on the opposite side, sorry, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to take this one, just has the 1 inch, but on all 3 of those score marks, we're going to cut up to that score line right there. Just 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. Back over here, then to this side, this is our bottom flaps that are going to go, it's the bottom of the box, like this. So what we're going to do now is, like I said earlier, whenever we have the little glue tabs to kind of cut the little notch to get that out of our way, we're going to kind of cut that score mark away there. So just kind of just a tiny little notch back up to that first line there. So just a tiny little sliver here, just like this. We're going to take out of that. This second one right here is going to be the top of the box. That's going to be the front side. So this is the tab that's going to be glued last, so that it's the cover that will show on the outside, this little flap here. So I'm going to fold that back and out of my way so I don't cut that accidentally. And we're going to do the little notch slivers out of these other 3 tabs. Okay. Just those little slivers there. Move those off to the side. All right, so this is what we have now. I don't believe we're going to need to do any slivers out of the top side. So now what we need to do is fold and burnish on all of our score lines. Okay, so I've got the alright. We kind of crease all of our score lines. So see, you can kind of see how this is going to come together now with our bottom tab. So we said this was our bottom piece, so we didn't cut the sliver out of it. So if we square it up, it'll cover the whole piece like this. And then we've got our top here. So what we need to do first is this little glue tab here. We need to add glue here. You can use wet glue, which I always use the art glitter glue. And when I first heard of this glue, I thought, why would you want glitter in your glue? But there really is not glitter in it. That's just the name of it. But it dries clear. And it does dry pretty quick. I like to put mine in this little bottle I got from Dollar Tree. I haven't seen any recently, but it has the real thin little needle nozzle. And I just like that it's smaller too to hold in my hand. You can also use double-sided tape if you want to on this tab, and you can use a combination of both. A lot of times you just want it to be a pretty strong adhesive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use both. I'm going to do one strip of this double-sided adhesive so that it's sticky on one side, has a paper cover on the other. So just push it down on there real good, and then the paper should just lift off pretty easily. So the adhesive strip's still there. And I'm going to come and add a little bit of liquid there also. What's nice about having a little bit of the liquid is you have a second or two to kind of position it to make sure that everything is straight. One trick that I have with boxes and things like this, when I know that all sides are the same, because they're all 2-inch pieces. We've got 2-inch, 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 and 2-inch, and then we've got our little half piece folded up. So I'm going to keep that side folded. But if I fold this in half, like so, the part that's still on the desk is 2 2-inch strips, and then these are 2 2-inch strips. And if I just fold this in half like this onto that glue, I know that it's going to be straight. Instead of trying to hold it up and line it up into it, you just keep it on the desk and keep it flat. It lines up real nice. You'll see we've got that. It's right up to that corner there. Okay. Just like that. All right, now what we want to do is, this is the side that I did not take the little slivers out of. So this is going to be my front. Okay. So we're going to take the two sides here, fold those down. We'll put just a little bit of glue here. Put that one in. We're going to put some glue down on that one. Fold the back piece in. Then we're going to take the front side here. And stick it down last. We just want to square it up so it's not hanging over anymore. And so then, I always like to take something heavy, especially in these tall boxes like this, and just kind of push it in there and get that bottom, because that art glitter glue likes pressure. And when you apply some pressure to where you have glued, it will take hold quickly. Okay. Oops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to bump my camera. All right. So this is my front. And now we're going to work on, let's see, with this just being 1 inch, see how the tabs just barely meet. So it would work if you wanted to permanently close it, and then the recipient could just tear it to get into the contents. But I didn't want them to have to tear the box to get into the contents. And this happened to be because I messed up, and then I figured out a way. So what I ended up doing, I told you these little tags were about 1 7/8 wide, so they're just a little bit shy. But what I did is I just measured up about how far I wanted it so that the two tags could meet in the middle, and I eyeballed it. I thought, well, that looks pretty good. And so when I found out where that crease was, I just took my scissors and I'm just going to cut straight across here. Because I don't need that bottom half. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to glue this right above that crease mark on that tab. There, so I'm just going to go right above my score line so it can still bend freely. And I did not cut this real straight, which is, you know, I'm going to straighten that up just a little bit, but it will go right there, right above that. So what I'm going to do then, now, is take the piece that I cut off to my other tab that's going to be on the other side here, and just line it up so that I get those two about the same size. Real close. There we go. Alright. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my pattern paper. I'm going to get them the same size also. So we will add some glue. Just above that score line and centered on that tab there. Begin to apply that pressure. And then let's do the same thing on this back tab here. Add some glue. Center that as good as possible. You can see where I didn't cut it so straight, but that's okay. That's not going to show. Okay. And now I just kind of by hand folded that back just a little bit there up to that, so that when I close it and kind of line the holes up here, it just kind of naturally kind of goes together like that. It's not a complete crease, but a decent crease. Like that. There we go. Okay. And that's how I did my tab. Kind of like a milk carton. And that's how I fixed my mess up on my first initial measurements. What I did on my other box also is, you can see my tag is just not quite as wide as the box lid. You could leave it, it doesn't look bad, or you can cut that extra off, and that's what I did on my other one. So I just kind of came in here and just snipped that off. Just kind of helped finish it up just a touch there. This side's a little bit harder to get in on that very first. There we go. And we're going to do the other side. Okay. And there you go. So now we just need to put our decorative paper on it. So I'm going to pull these pieces back in. So I've got my 4 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 6 7/8. So leave just 1/8 of an inch border around so that pink will still show. We're going to do that on all 4 sides. Now we're going to put the decorative tags over the top flaps here, because they are also decorative. And then the one last square that's 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 for the bottom. Okay, there you go. So now we put that decorative paper on. Just going to kind of get it to kind of learn there where they meet in the middle, like that. Then your recipient can just open it up and get the contents out of the box. And there you have it. There's the box. Just bring this one back in and show you. All I did was take some foam stickers from Dollar Tree. They're little glitter stickers, and I just put 4 down here and 1 up here at the top and tied it closed with a little bit of Valentine ribbon. And this, my friends, is ready to go. Thank you for coming back to my channel. I hope that you like what you saw and would learn how to figure out the measurements of a box if you needed to make one to send a special gift to a friend. I would appreciate it if you would like my video and leave me a comment. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have subscribed, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Y'all have a wonderful day, and God bless.